And
It was everything from this to retest.
Yeah, you do not do that.
All right.
Right.
It's like where you can spend more time. Tell me when.
Oh, you know what, I'll take you out for a drink. Spend more time.
Remember my name in that, right? Here you are.
Make sure my brother comes in town.
Yeah. Okay. You ready? We come over. All right, we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. I would ask that the door be unlocked from the outside, but locked from the inside. This is our last meeting. I have Domino's on speed dial. I don't think we'll need it, but, I don't think we'll be calling for adjournment until we're completed with our tasks. Does that work for you?
I'm not at all taking
You're,
responsibility
okay,
for the,
okay.
no,
Thank y'all for
No.
being here. We anticipate a few more. Sorry, we're starting a little bit late, but I guess we are all kind of maybe getting into the holiday mood already. Right?
apologies, I didn't bring candy canes or,
Oh, I didn't either, so we let you down.
yeah.
All right, let's do the roll calls.
Eddie,
Yes.
Dr. Fuller,
Here.
Ms. Jackson,
I'm here.
Tommy Smith,
Here.
Dr. Tyrone,
Here.
Ms. Harris. Honorary Thomas here, Dr. Cabrezus. Here. Ms. Doucette. Here. Dr. McLean,
Present.
Ms. Alford. Here. Mr. Herbold,
Here.
Dr. Gladden, and Mr. Roche.
Here.
I believe we have a quorum.
You called my name, Cassidy.
Oh, there we go. I kept going. I was done. Sorry. Dr. O'Rourke, Dr. Cassidy, Ms. Norton. Here. Dr. Palermo and Dr. Bryant and Mr. Williams. Two. Yeah, we should be 11.
There we go. Okay, thank you. So you all received the minutes and it's also there in your packet. So I would entertain a motion on the minutes.
I moved.
Dr. Cassidy, Dr. Cassidy,
Yes.
Dr. Cassidy. Second, Tommy. Any discussion? Okay, thank you. The minutes are approved. Gonna move to the recommendations. So they putting these together and walking us.
So I sent a draft report this weekend for y'all to peruse. Thank you to those of y'all who provided feedback. It has already been updated and reflected here. We'll just be discussing the recommendations, but I wanted to first go through what our responsibilities were as put forth in HR 143. So if y'all recall, we had 10 responsibilities. The first were, of course, to review what the challenges and benefits are to a phased retirement program, what the structure of those programs look like in other states, any potential costs of implementing such a program here in Louisiana, and then moving into eligibility requirements of said program, time for implementation, any type of benefits that those who would be eligible would receive during this phased retirement program, potential providing additional lifetime income, the impact of increasing the employer rate from 6.2 to 8% for ORP contributions, as well as shifting the payment of the administrative fee from ORP members to the employer. And then finally, but certainly not least, the potential cost of providing a greater payout using accrued leave to enhance participants' benefit. So with that being said, I wanted to move to our first recommendation. And the first recommendation was or is to put forth a phased retirement program with each of the policies, including the following items. And there are 2 slides. So don't think I didn't forget something. It may be on the second slide. Again, we wanted to make these guardrails so that each of the policies look similar, but leave flexibility for the needs of each of our systems and what their needs are would be appropriately reflected. So first, of course, is the definition of what a potential enrollee is. The enrollee must be retirement eligible to participate and retirement eligible under their respective retirement system. The length of the enrollment within the phased retirement program would be no less than 12 months and no more than 36. Persons enrolled must have a minimum of 10 years of collective, not necessarily consecutive, service within the Louisiana public post-secondary institution. The age of the enrollee shall be no less than 59 and a half years. Enrollees may be rehired at full or part-time, but only following a defined period as noted within the policy after the end of the phased retirement enrollment. And then moving to the second slide, details more about what that MOU would need to look like. And the MOU would be executed between the institution system and the enrollee. And it would be inclusive, of course, of the enrollee's workload and schedule expectations. It needs to be approved by an institution's human resources officer, chief academic, and chief fiscal officer. Should your institution choose to do more, that is based on what your system approves, but no less than those three will need to sign off. The workload should be no less than 50%. Those enrolled in another Louisiana state retirement system are prohibited to have dual employment during their phased retirement enrollment. And formal acknowledgement is to be required of all of these elements pertaining within the MOU. And then last but not least, as I noted earlier, each system may choose to provide additional policy guidance and implementation actions. So with that being said, to approval of this.
You want to do an approval one by one or across all?
I think one by one
I think that's
is most appropriate.
okay. So you have seen and heard the recommendations. I believe these reflect our conversations. So with that, what we'll do on each of these is we'll go through these and then I would need a motion to accept the recommendation so we can move forward.
There's no discussion. I'll move to approve these.
The first recommendation.
But,
If there's no, I mean, if there's discussion on
I
this.
was gonna call for discussion after we have a second, but we can have discussion before. So Gina, seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, very good. Recommendation one is approved.
Okay, moving into our second recommendation, which is the recommendation as to the time period for implementation. As we've discussed, we wanted to ensure that there was appropriate lead time for each of our institutions and systems to not only develop the phased retirement program, but also to ensure that there is appropriate system approval. So with that being said, we noted that each system must approve a policy no later than June 30th, 2027 for it to go into effect no earlier than July 1st, 2027.
Excellent time for discussion.
So what if the board wants to make it effective? 28? Do they not have, I mean, it says no later than June 30th of 2027.
Well, it
You
has to
said
be
policy.
approved. Yeah, the policy has to be approved no later than 2027 for it to go into effect.
So if they don't
no
approve
earlier
it by
than
that time-
fiscal year 28.
So if they don't approve it by that time, they can have no policy. That's what I'm trying to figure
Oh,
out.
I see what you're saying.
I was thinking that their policy could be approved by this date, but it may not implement until later. Like this kind of forces the question of having something, even if it's to say it's later.
Correct. I mean, I do want to point out, these are recommendations that we're providing, so Rep. Bakla may choose to change those dates. But these are simply recommendations that we're making. Is there a concern that there's not enough time to implement?
I was
or-
just thinking if the only way you could have this phased retirement set up, if you have to have it approved by that date, that's all I'm saying. Does
I see
it
what
box
you're
us
saying.
in that if you don't have it approved by this date,
Mhm.
then
And
that's
we have no
out.
policy at all.
I mean, I understand. I mean, what we're trying to say is this is the earliest we want it to do it,
Yeah.
right?
We can certainly put
Yeah,
that.
leave it open. That's
Okay.
all I'm worried about, is that it boxes us in, that if a board doesn't have it approved by this date, then.
So rather than no later, we can say no earlier than June 30th, 2027. Okay, to allow the phased retirement program to go into effect. No, okay, no early. Okay. So we will make that change to no earlier than June 30th, 2027. And that will provide additional time as needed. Okay.
Other discussion or motion?
I move we adopt this recommendation.
Second. Motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Any opposed? All right, the recommendation is approved.
All right, the next recommendation focuses on salary and retirement benefits to be received during phased retirement. In our recommendation, we note that enrollees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees, ensuring that they receive appropriate salary and benefits reflective of their work schedules. A couple of details within this recommendation is that those who are enrolled in a defined benefit plan, they shall receive a portion of their retirement benefits based on each system's defined percent of effort, which is not to be any less than 50%. Each of the employee or employer contributions, they shall not be made into the DB plan on behalf of an enrollee during the phased retirement program enrollment time. The third bullet focuses on, again, noting that they are to retain their full-time employment status in order to maintain their group insurance benefits. Enrolled participant salaries shall remain static to their adjusted salary based on percent of effort during their time in the program. And then the last bullet notes that what that accrued leave shall be determined based on their agreed upon work effort per the MOU. Did I miss anything?
The only question I have is, and I know we're not to this yet, but when you read this, it says contributions made by the participant to their prospective DB retirement plan may continue upon enrollment.
Right, so we received edits to the recommendation, so the report will reflect those edits to the recommendation
That's my question.
based on
Gonna
what
be
is
is-
to be approved, yeah.
So we're not gonna allow, we're gonna go by this.
Right, we're
Okay.
going by the approved recommendations,
Because I had a
so the
lot of
report
questions.
will change based on those recommendations.
That would be an administrative.
They might drop or they don't.
Yeah.
Yes, because in here when I read that, and I just read the first change, I didn't read the second. I was gonna say, well, why would you want to receive your
Sure,
portion if you wanted to stay later and run it up if you're paying it? But that
Sure.
makes a lot more sense.
okay,
Can we add pro rata portion? First line?
and the first bullet or the
Your
first,
bullet?
okay. So enrolled DB plan participants shall receive a pro rata portion.
So they don't have a choice. They have to receive the benefit.
We can say may receive,
Why would they not want to?
that would be, I mean, I don't.
Just-
I
If
think
it's
fine.
benefiting, you're not putting any more money in, I agree. If they were putting more money in, then that was the
Yeah.
question I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
They're gonna want portion of their retirement.
Would assume
They would
so.
be losing money. if
About
they didn't
limit.
take it.
There'd be no reason not to.
And we don't want to straddle the line on this where some do and some do not, because that's gonna be a major administrative burden for the institutions, and tracking would be a nightmare.
Now, we talked about this last time, and I just don't recall. The ORP participants could draw down during this time as well?
They can draw down, and they can still participate.
Yes.
Do
So
we
they have-
want to say anything about that here? Or
Um,
at least mention that ORP participants would follow their plan?
There's a portion that mentions ORP, if you can put it there.
I think I put it later,
I think so.
yeah,
Slide.
yeah, I believe it's on the next slide, yeah. Yeah, the additional
So
lifetime.
that's a separate recommendation. So we have one recommendation for the defined benefit and one for the defined contribution. Okay. Good.
I have a question about it remaining in a full-time active status. I know that we were wanting to do that so that they maintain benefit eligibility.
Correct.
But are we concerned where there's writing anywhere else that would box us into that, meaning that full-time status, that we're still doing employer and employee contributions on anything?
Can we say full-time fringe benefit,
Benefit status instead of
benefit
employment
status,
status.
something like
Yeah,
that?
Okay.
something where it's not boxing us in with the other language.
Full-time benefit status, so that would be the third bullet, and we would be changing employment to benefit status. To maintain group insurance benefits.
So I guess my only question would be, since we have 10 and 11, and 10, the header is salary and retirement benefits received during,
Mhm.
and it's only about
Defined benefit?
defined benefit, and then the next one is headed potential of providing additional lifetime income. And it's about ORP. Should both of those recommendations be under the same header, salary and retirement benefits to be received during phase?
Well, we were tasked, that's why I put about
Right.
what we were tasked
So
with,
how do
and
we-
so we have to review both.
I think that second bullet on page 11. Does that apply to both?
It simply said, let me pull up the legislation actually to reference, but should be.
If you can continue with the supplemental payment on
So go ahead.
defined benefit.
Right.
Correct.
Why couldn't we just take those two bullets and put them?
The one? We can do that, should that be what y'all would?
Because really, this 10 isn't just for DB, because we're
No.
talking about full-time, but that is for
That's what I'm
everybody.
trying to get at. It's like, cause when I read 10, I'm like, well, where's the ORP? And then you go to the next page, but it's under a different thing. So I think we gotta figure out how we.
So the discussion previously, just for my understanding, was that ORP participants would still be able to elect whether or not they want to contribute as part of this. Or I thought we were saying everybody would have the ability to go through a supplemental plan. Trying to understand the administrative burden that's gonna come out with this. If we start letting, I understand defined benefit, but if we start letting ORP pick and choose as well, that's gonna mean that we have to create separate retirement plans and be manually moving people based on their individual. So just wanna understand the intent and what we're thinking is gonna happen.
All y'all are ruminating that it was what the titles of each slide are what we were tasked with. So it clearly stated 6, salary and retirement benefits to be received during phased retirement, and 7, the potential of providing an additional lifetime.
Right. So maybe we combine both of the, like we state, under both of those, these are the recommendation, or this is the recommendation that addresses both of those items. Would
That's on purpose.
would that work?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But we still need to go back to,
Yeah, I'm
question.
just asking, do we want it to be everybody can continue to contribute through a supplemental retirement plan? Or are we truly wanting ORP to be able to pick and choose whether they continue contributing?
So the difference is, The ORP contribution is matched by the employer,
Right.
right? Supplements, there's no match. So just say that's the difference. I want everybody to understand that.
Yeah.
But I think the discussion from last time had been, right, to get ORP participants to participate in the supplemental retirement without having them give up the 6.2% match, it seemed it was advantageous to let them continue making contributions instead of going into
Because they were
supplemental.
listening. Yeah,
Right,
okay.
because otherwise they may just, not want to go into supplemental because they say, well, I'm gonna give up the 6.2% contribution over the time I'm participating. Or, to ORP, because I have to go into supplemental if I don't have the choice to continue, with the employer match. So I think it was really trying to get folks to get into supplement or to get into the phased retirement. With
Yeah.
that, because otherwise they may just say, well, I'll just continue and then just retire on a set date under the, new rule.
Yeah, I understand the premise with that. I'm just thinking through the logistics of what that's gonna mean in the day-to-day operations of that, if that's something we really feel like.
Would it be better for to say ORP participants all shall continue to contribute and then not have to choose?
That's where I would rather it be in one bucket or the other.
Yeah. And then it resolves what we just discussed.
Yeah.
It's not, and choose one or the other. It's like if you're ORP, you continue to contribute, we continue to contribute. If you define benefit, it follows basically the drop principles that are already established in our systems.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think it should be one or the other. I don't think we should allow the selection.
So if you are contributing to the ORP, can you take withdrawals? But wouldn't that prevent them if they wanted to supplement their income? And that was the whole idea. So the DB side, you're supplementing your income with the DB payment.
And you withdraw while you're contributing.
We can allow them to withdraw while they're in this program. It's not a problem.
Trace that's.
Thank you, Trey. You're recording.
I know I'm in the note.
For the new deputy director, TRSL. All right, so that would be on page 11. So we're looking at saying contributions made by the participant to the respective DB and or ORP plan may continue upon enrollment.
No, not the DB.
Oh,
Just
just not
DB.
DB.
And we're looking at
Okay.
11 saying enrolled participants shall continue to contribute to their supplemental.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Okay, I was getting a
I was
little
looking at the wrong
confused, so thank you for that. Enrolled participants shall.
Look up top there. Contributions made by the participant to their respective RP shall continue,
Okay,
right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
thank you.
Because my understanding was you have to contribute to something. Right, during this period, and so if you're gonna contribute for an ORP member, it seems it would be better to contribute to the ORP rather than the supplemental.
Well, if you have to contribute to anything, like the DBs aren't contributing.
No, I think what the discussion was that,
Okay.
as I recalled, was you might have people that want to continue contributing, and that was where we talked about the supplemental plans, but I understand that that's not gonna come with a match. And we're trying to offset what ORP is not getting in the match.
So on page 11, there are two mays that moved to shalls.
So that's
Okay.
No, just one.
Okay, but-
It's saying that you have to give the supplemental retirement. The second one can stay at May, right? The first one should go to shall.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
let me switch it to the slide. Okay, so phased retirement program enrollees, we're going to keep it at may continue to contribute to their respective ORP plans.
Shall.
No, that's the shall.
I know.
They don't have a choice.
Okay, so we're moving that to shall. Contributions made by the participant to the respective ORP plan may. Is that a may or a shall? Okay, that's what I got. Continue upon enrollment, it should be prorated based on workload adjustment. Should make that another bullet. Employer contributions to the enrollee's ORP plan shall continue.
Yes.
Okay, if the enrollee,
You could remove the if the enrollee contributes, because we've already saying that they have to.
Yeah.
okay, so now we're taking that part off. And then in the last one, enrolled participants may.
Yes.
Okay,
Is that gonna create more of a problem that you were talking about, the supplemental retirements phase?
No, because that's the way it is now.
There's
Not
no match to
everybody's-
that. It's,
Correct.
Yeah.
some people do, some people don't.
That's
Some people
optional.
start it, stop it, start it again, so that's, nothing's gonna change administratively.
Is there anything that would cause like for teachers that are in other plans to say, well, why can they still contribute and get a match, but we can't?
You might have a few that are very savvy that might say that, but I think, I mean, we know that the rationale behind that is that the ORP are not getting the same match.
So ORP can't do drop either, so you can have the
Right.
same thing
Okay.
and then get the benefit of drop. Several other things that ORP participants do not.
But if somebody in the other program couldn't do drop and this, they can't do drop and phased retirement,
Yeah, they have to do it before you are.
right? They
If
could
you
do
can,
both.
if you do drop, you don't have to retire after drop. So someone could do drop and then do phased, or do drop, work a little while longer and then do the phased. So it's,
She would not do them at the same time.
Correct.
I guess technically it's possible because you have to be eligible to retire for either one of them.
What would be the advantage for somebody to do that?
It probably wouldn't be, because their drop's gonna be small. The benefit that they receive during phase is pro rata. So if you're working 50% effort, why would you do it? You'd want the money to come to you, not to go to a drop account,
Right.
because you're losing half your salary. So it wouldn't make sense to do it.
So even though they technically could, I think through our MOUs or our policies, we could say we wouldn't do that.
There could be some tax reasons you would do that. If someone taxable. Security isn't necessarily, you make too much, it becomes taxable. So I could see where you would take that 50% that goes into a drop account because it's not taxable to you at that time. So, you know, I don't know all the details of some tax account. You can see, I doubt very many people would, I mean, but there's probably some people, I could see professors having.
Or would recommend that you prohibit it. I mean, it's technically possible that someone could apply to do both at the same time, but.
And that'd be part of our
Recommend that they not
But
do
institutional
it.
policy.
they didn't do drop,
How
and
we
they just wanted
administer it.
phased retirement. Why, what's the argument for why would not be able to still contribute in phased retirement and get my employer match like the ORP?
So in the DB plan, it's not really an employer match. It's your benefit doesn't really correlate to the contributions that come in. Your benefit's based on the formula.
Your benefit doesn't change. The ORP participants' benefits change.
Okay.
So it makes no impact to your bottom line, but an ORP participant does.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Can we show what it would
Yep.
be or good?
so we're going to combine 10 and 11 slides. So the heading will be salary and retirement benefits to be received during phased retirement, reflective of their work schedules. Additionally, phased retirement program employees may continue to contribute to their respective ORP plans. And then under that, our recommendation will have basically two recommendations, right? Recommendation one, phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees and receive appropriate salary and benefits reflective of their work schedule. Everything on this slide remains. No changes, correct?
Except for
Other
the,
than
Other than
third bullet, the
the,
Benefits.
correct, we
Employment
change it from
benefit.
employment to benefits.
the other thing is.
Oh, and pro rata.
Yeah,
Shall receive a pro rata portion of their retirement benefits in the first bullet. And then the third bullet, enrolled participants shall retain full-time benefits
Benefits.
so
status.
you want to go back up to the first sentence there and change that to full-time active employees to the same verbiage you got down on the third.
Active employees and receive appropriate benefits reflective of their work schedules.
so it's.
That
enrolled
first sentence right under
participants retain
recommendation.
Full-time benefit
Benefit
status.
Status, okay,
That would be benefit status. Here,
correct.
so let's,
We'll change it, yeah, change benefit, alright, phased retirement program shall continue to be considered full-time. Active employees
So it becomes,
we have to keep that and receive appropriate and retain full-time benefit status. Correct? That's what we're saying?
so is it possible to put up the changes on the screen?
Yeah, hold on.
I think it would be helpful to do that, just.
Left. Sean, can you grab the keyboard? Hopefully I don't mess anything up. Okay. So following, we're going to have phased retirement program employees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees. Then we want to say retaining full-time benefit status. On. Hey, finance. Can y'all go grab an IT? Okay, thanks. All right, we'll come back to this. Love that.
Okay.
We'll change to,
Well, moving on to slide.
I can't figure out how to put it back into the presentation mode, but. All right,
Thank you. We'll get it.
I'll get there. Okay, so slide 12, we're talking about the impact of increasing employer rate from the 6.2 to 8%. This was a similar recommendation from last year's task force findings. What we changed here was to reflect that we strongly recommend that employers increase their minimum employer contribution to the 8%. However, we're stating that it is contingent upon the passage of the amendment. It is recommended that any savings be reorganized, recognized remain in the higher education budget, and that portion of these savings would be used by institutions to increase employer contributions, would support that increase.
All right, so discussion on this recommendation.
Y'all can reference it in your handout. Any concerns?
Discussion or motion?
The only concern I have is it just contingent on this amendment passing? Could it be contingent on receiving appropriate state funding?
Other funding sources?
I'm happy to add
And I don't know if
additional
this-
funding source.
I was reading it,
Mhm.
as I know these are two separate deals, but it seems like we could put something like contingent on receiving state appropriations or the state constitutional amendment passing somewhere in there,
Something
the
like that.
state,
Other funding option.
correct.
Want to add recurring to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, recurring contingent on recurring state appropriations or the constitutional amendment passing. And then obviously that money needs to come to us.
Okay. So that would be,
I mean, I don't know if you can put it right before you bullets there.
well, if you go to recommendation, to the final recommendation, slide 14. It talks about contingent upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement. So we can use similar language
Yes.
for slide
That's
12.
what it's,
Okay.
exactly what it's saying on there. So.
Okay, all right. So with that addition. Okay,
So as it currently stands, this recommendation is stated on the slide with the addition of similar verbiage. We're gonna be talking about later, but it's the additional funding reference. So that's where this one stands. So either discussion or motion. Okay, we have a motion. Thank you. We have a second, Don Harris. Any additional discussion? Any opposed?
That's the same.
Okay. All right. No opposition, so that recommendation is approved. Very good. So now we're gonna go back to,
change it. Oh, yeah,
thank you.
that.
So we're gonna go back
Right
to
there.
slide
Back.
10 and 11.
Okay. All right,
Watch your typing skills.
thank you.
You can take it off screen if you need to take it off, if you would prefer to have it taken off.
Typing in 8th grade. Not gonna go over well. Okay, so phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees. We said, and retain full-time benefit status. And receive appropriate salary and benefits reflective of their work schedules.
Should we get rid of that last benefits now? Cause
This one?
yeah, because we're saying they're getting full-time benefit status, and so it's not being adjusted based on their work schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that one becomes unnecessary.
Oh, gotta add. And E, all right, benefits. And receive appropriate salary
Remove a hand.
reflective of their work schedules. Okay. Enrolled DB plan participants shall receive a portion of their retirement benefits based on each system's defined percent of effort defined as not less than 50%. And then I'm changing this from employment to benefit status. Were there any other changes on this recommendation? This is actually going to be recommendation 1
Yes,
because we'll be doing.
that'll come up. Yeah. You're doing extremely well. Yep, got it.
Y'all get
Yeah.
the gist. Okay, great. This will be recommendation 2. All right, phased retirement program enrollees. Shall continue to contribute to their respective ORP plans. Contributions made by the participant to their respective ORP plans shall continue upon enrollment, but should be prorated based on workload adjustment. Yeah, another bullet here. Employer contributions to the enrollee's ORP plan shall continue. And enrolled participants may continue to contribute to their supplemental retirement. All right.
That's recommendation two, right?
That's a
So we have
recommendation two.
Two items that we're tasked with. We have the test at the end of the 10 items.
Right.
So, but we have those two will be there, and then the two recommendations. So let's read through this one again.
Okay, so salary and retirement benefits to be received during phased retirement, and I'll fix the verbiage, additionally potential of providing, oh, I have to keep that additional. Lifetime income. Recommendation one, phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees retaining full-time benefit status and receive appropriate salary reflective of their work schedules. Enrolled DB plan participants shall receive a pro rata portion of their retirement benefits based on each system's defined percent of effort. Effort defined as not less than 50%. No employee or employer contributions shall be made to the DB plan on behalf of an enrollee. Enrollee participants shall retain full-time benefit status in order to maintain group insurance benefits. Enrolled participants' salaries shall remain static to their adjusted salary based on percent of effort during their time in the program. I'm going to add phased retirement program here. Enrolled participants shall continue to accrue leave based on their agreed upon work effort per the MOU. That is recommendation one.
So let's pause there. Any discussion?
One more.
Oh, Nikki,
I'm the Tommy today.
that's okay. Y'all
Enrolled,
had y'all's Wheaties. They were golden purple, but y'all had your Wheaties.
enrolled participant salaries shall remain static. So we're saying we're not going to allow them to be eligible for any type of annual merits or anything like that.
That was one thing
Mhm.
does that preclude them from
Yes.
getting a
That
raise
would,
during that?
that would preclude them if by some miracle we got a cost of living adjustment that we hadn't had in almost 20 years, or we got a merit allocation or anything like that, it would preclude their ability to be eligible.
What happens with drop? As drop is our model, right?
I think there were concerns about if the salary changes, how that impacts the benefit and impact, yeah. Any,
So right
Any
now, our folks get adjustments now. I mean, they're eligible for, if they're in drop, they're still eligible. They get market adjustments, they get merit increases.
so we can say enrolled participants' salaries shall be adjusted to their base. Enrolled participants' salaries shall be adjusted based on percent of effort.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big piece, is that it should be prorated based on their percent effort, but I don't know. Personally, I would think that would be something that the participant would not be very fond of, that I'm doing this, but I still don't get to take advantage of any raises that would be due me.
And in drop, they would the benefit remains static, right? But they can receive adjustments along the way.
Right.
So it shouldn't say salary
We
shall
can cut
remain
that part
static.
out about remaining static.
Yeah, it's the
Unless somebody
benefit.
thinks otherwise.
No, I think it'd be good to take out.
I think I commented on that one last time. That the word static is very scary in the sense that
Yeah.
you know what, there is what you call this cost of living adjustment.
Mhm.
So if you say static, it means that you are not qualified for anything, right? You stay on, for example, if you sign for 3 years, still your salary will be the same, even if inflation is 5 or 10% or even 20%. So I think the word static is
We can also say, enrolled participant salaries shall be adjusted.
Remove salary.
Yeah, thanks. Based on percent of effort during their time in the phased retirement program as per the MOU. And that will provide, should institutions or systems.
The person receives an adjustment, it would then flow through and be reflected in their percent of effort.
Okay.
I have nothing else. I'm
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Tom.
This
Oh, I'm
slide.
sorry.
Okay. As per their agreed upon MOU.
Wasn't someone else gonna say something?
Just, it's dependent on the MOU, couldn't that get complicated?
I'm asking if that would be, I mean, that's more, if y'all feel that that would be inappropriate. You know, if you would want it to be spelled out within the MOU and therefore be part of the approval process by your management boards. If it does not need to be in there, there is the guardrail, and just to reflect back up here, there is the guardrail that says right here, each system may choose to provide additional policy guidance and implementation actions. So that may be something that one system may choose to include and another may not.
To say if it's a negotiation with the employee,
Mhm.
could one MOU differ from another, or is it yes or no?
I think that would be at the discretion of,
Just seems,
My personal opinion from an HR standpoint is that you would want that to be an institutional decision. If you start differentiating in individual MOUs, you're setting yourself up for some discriminatory claims or inequitability.
yeah. But we would want that
Agreement. So we,
in or out to say that it would be part of their MOU or no.
I said per institution.
yeah, I don't see why we would, why have that statement on this particular bullet
Okay.
and the other bullets, because aren't we covered by the guideline on the earlier slide?
Yeah.
So hey, is that what you were suggesting?
Okay. All right,
We're still on this slide.
we're still on recommendation one.
And hands off the keyboard.
I'm not touching it.
Any other discussion? We're not approving yet because we have a second recommendation like this one. Or do we wanna, yeah, I guess we should, let's review the second one first.
Yep. Okay, so recommendation 2, phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to contribute to their respective ORP plans. Contributions made by the participant to their respective ORP plan shall continue upon enrollment, but should be prorated based on workload adjustment. Employer contributions to the enrollee's ORP plan shall continue. Enrolled participants may continue to contribute to their supplemental retirement.
This is out of ignorance, I'm just trying to get clarification on the second.
Oh, I had that
Previous.
all, it was previously all put in one. It was suggested to make it 3 separate bullets. I can push
This
it
was on page 10. or-
No, page 11.
11.
This is the.
His question is on slide 10.
Oh, your question.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't follow.
Okay. No employee or employer contributions shall be made to the DB plan on behalf of an enrollee.
So is that part of the current rule? I guess I'm just not quite familiar with that. So if somebody's on the benefit plan,
Mhm.
so there are no contributions.
So if they're in drop,
Mhm.
there's
Oh,
no
if they're
contribution.
drop.
If
Yeah,
they're-
treating this modeling that
I
this
see.
drop
After
drops.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's just.
I
on its
mean,
own.
I personally
Right.
hope I'm getting contributions to my defined benefit plan as we're sitting here, so. As an active employee.
And maybe that should be in the verbiage from, I don't mean in the recommendation, but we reference the drop, I think it's in there somewhere. That is kind of modeling that, so that's where some of these concepts.
So the monies that go into the actual drop plan
Mhm,
doesn't have those costs.
mhm.
Okay,
So based on,
let's go back to 11. Any
Okay.
discussion on line 11?
Last bullet, enrolled participants may contribute, that applies to both TB and ORP,
Yes.
correct?
okay, I can be enrolled.
I did,
I don't think you need to put anything in there. I think that's.
okay,
Are we
I just
good?
wanted to
Okay.
clarify.
Oh, wait. You Xed it out.
I didn't do.
Oh, so I thought I saw a line.
Well,
Did it go on the others?
the recommendation has ORP in it.
Right, that's what
So
confused
that
me,
third line
that's
should
why
be
I
on
thought it
both
should go or on both sides or.
So we can say, phased retirement enrollees shall continue to contribute to their respective DB and, or ORP.
Not DB.
Exactly.
No, what you,
So,
Oh,
supplemental.
the third bullet applies to slide 10 and 11.
11.
So we could copy the same bullet and put on slide 10 as on slide 11.
We should put it all on slide 10,
Yeah.
because that slide,
Because it follows
that
the
slide
same.
has
Oh,
ORP.
okay, you're right.
Would it be easier to break it out into 3 recommendations?
We can do
One that's
that.
specifically for DB, one that's specifically for ORP, and one that covers both.
You're gonna be repeating this same thing over.
Yeah.
It could be clearer.
Right, because I'm just looking at the last bullet point on 10, right, about accruing leave applies to both plans as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right now, it looks like, because so much of the other references are just to define benefits, it looks like. Just we have the same concern with, ORP, it says. You can continue contributing to supplemental. What if we pull it out of here and just have one that applies to both plans equally?
So what your suggestion is to take out the first 2 bullets. So the 3rd, 4th, and 5th bullets do not reference ORP or DB.
Be applicable to us.
So they would be applicable to both, right? Then we would do, we can do a separate heading.
Yep.
For participants in DB plan and a separate heading for participants in ORP.
I think that would work, yeah.
And it has lastly one.
Bullet on the
recommendation.
next page.
And I think we could probably get to just a recommendation that has those 3 components.
Do that. Have participants stuff, I suppose.
DB plan, can we call them members instead of participants?
Sure.
Can we make it just one recommendation? So this would just be
Sure.
recommendation continued on this slide. Let's see if that works. So it goes to 10. So it's just recommendation.
All right.
Want me to read? Give you a break.
Sure.
I'll read.
Feel free.
Okay, recommendation, phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to be considered full-time active employees, retaining full-time benefits status and receive appropriate salary reflective of their work schedules. Enrolled participants shall retain full-time benefit status in order to maintain group insurance benefits. Enrolled participants' salary shall be adjusted based on percent of effort during their time in the phased retirement program. Enrolled participants shall continue to accrue leave based on their agreed upon work effort per the MOU. And enrolled participants may continue to contribute to their supplemental retirement plans. Next slide. DB plan members. Enrolled DB plan members shall receive a pro rata portion of their retirement benefits based on each system's defined percent of effort. Effort defined as not less than 50%. No employee or employer contribution shall be made to the DB plan on behalf of an enrollee. ORP plan participants. Phased retirement program enrollees shall continue to contribute to their respective ORP plans. Contributions made by the participant to their respective ORP plan shall continue upon enrollment, but should be prorated based on workload adjustment. Employer contributions to the enrollee's ORP plan shall continue.
So I don't know if you need that sentence right under
Right, you don't need
ORP
to vary-
plan, because you said that in the second bullet.
Like
So
that.
under
Right
ORP
in
plan,
front of it.
participants, yeah, you can delete that sentence. And so that way you have it the same force.
And they both have two bullets. I mean, we're being equal and.
We need to say, so we say that employee is based pro rata. We need to say that for the employer. Well,
Second bullet under ORP.
Thank you. Contribution made by.
Prorated.
Employer contributions to the employees plan. All right, where do we want to put?
Prorated.
Prorated.
Employer prorated contributions. Would that,
yes,
does that work?
I think
That work?
copy.
Does that work?
Is it needed? It's a percentage of pay.
You're gonna say it's also a percentage of pay for the participant.
And that's the benefit. That's the benefit, that's the first bullet under DD plan members is their benefit amount.
No, we're on ORP.
I know, but the employer contribution is a percentage of pay, so. If their pay is lower, then their dollar amount of contribution is necessarily lower, so you're not changing the percent of the contribution. I'm not sure it matters, so I'm not married.
Not, the 6.2 is
To the
saying that
projection.
it's more
Again,
related
to
to the
a
total
lower
salary than to that. Whereas it's different for the DB plan. We can say consistent to instead of prorated. We can say consistent to. The. Trying to keep the wording the same on this one. The employer's contribution or employee's contribution rate.
You can always say based on at the end, based on employee salary.
Or,
That's what it
Or you just
basically
say
is.
both of them are,
or it could be contribution after ORP plan contribution. It could be employer prorated contributions to the enrollee's ORP plan contribution shall continue. And that would tie them.
or you could just say in the first bullet, stop after shall continue. It's a percentage of what you're being paid, so. There's my point, if you're saying it's reduced on one, you say it on the other, but if you leave it like. You don't address it on either one, then you're just gonna contribute on what they're actually being paid.
Or ORP people in the room. Does this meet?
Misunderstood these.
Employer contributions.
The only thing to clear it up there is like based on current salary level. You know, it's right, it's a different percent. I don't want them to. I would interpret this,
Based on their adjusted salary.
yeah, based on their adjusted salary. And I don't want them to think that it's gonna continue at the rate they're here now. It's gonna be based on that adjusted salary.
Based on their adjusted workload salary? Or just adjusted salary?
Adjusted.
It's the salary.
Okay. We need it on both bullets.
I put it on both. Just to be
Okay.
clear.
Is it the will of the group that I read it again?
The only issue that I have is on this slide, you're referring to members and participants. In the first slide, you're only referring to participants.
So there's a difference between a participant in the ORP and a participant in the phased retirement program.
Then why are we differentiating, adding the members to differentiate from participants on the second slide?
So it's an internal TRSL. People in the DB plan are members of the system. People that are in the ORP are participants in the optional retirement plan. Throughout this, we've called the people that are doing the phased retirement as participants or enrollees. I think we've used both.
Okay. The only time we would use member is if it's referencing a TRSL member.
DB.
Okay. Is that?
So then
Yeah,
this
that
should
makes
be
sense.
member instead of just. One, Slide 10. Enroll DB plan says participants.
So we change.
Yeah, I changed it.
Oh, you changed it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just
I
moved
just
to a
didn't
different
change it. Got
slide.
it, got it, got it.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Alright. Okay,
More discussion, more reading aloud. Or motions.
There'll be motion to go forward.
Second.
alright.
We have a motion
Yeah.
as reflected on Elizabeth's masterpiece slide,
Yes.
reflecting the creative genius
Oh, yeah.
of this group. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further
Control F already.
discussion?
Thank you.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
Okay,
The recommendation is approved based on those two, addressing those two
Great.
items. Well done.
okay, so I'm skipping 12. The we've already done it, and moving to our second to last recommendation. Alright, shifting payment of TRSL administrative fee from ORP members to employer. Beginning July 1st, 2026, the 0.05% admin fee charged to ORP members. Do we need to say participants there?
No, it's members.
Alright, just double checking.
No,
No,
no, that's participant.
Yeah, it should be participant.
See, look at that, I'm thinking ahead. Will be split evenly between the employee and their employer. From this date, employees will not be debited any fee greater than 0.025%. However, should that fee be increased by the TRSL Board of Trustees, then the difference will be made up by the employer. As there is no anticipation of the fee increasing beyond the current 0.05%, the task force has no additional recommendation.
So we were wanting the full amount, so the 0.025 is still gonna be charged to the participant.
Correct.
Do we want that to go away?
That's a decision made by this body,
Okay. I'm good.
or a recommendation to be
Okay.
made by this body.
Did we have it contingent on us receiving?
I can add the language.
I thought we did in the, we didn't have it in your write-up.
They can control C and E all over this.
The rates that y'all see to the campus, that's not gonna include that. Increase in the employer rate,
Yes.
will include.
Okay,
So rates gonna get approved Thursday,
Okay.
and the letters will go out after that, but it will include that 0.025.
And that's before they make any additional payment to the UAL, if they use any of that 200 million they found, right?
Yes.
For this year, or the constitutional amendment. So you don't have to come back together after that. So I had to be working quick.
yes.
Um,
Trey appreciates you pointing out.
Sure they come in
that.
and- But I'm talking, this is what'll happen if the amendment passes.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, also
No worries.
Kenny will have some work too, to quickly.
you will check someone else's work.
That's right.
So the spirit behind this, correct me if I'm wrong here, was attempting to shift the fee from the employee to the employer. At this point, it's half.
Mhm.
Ultimately, the goal would be it all would go for equity kind of purposes.
So would,
But then also, let me just finish this one piece, but then also the last part of, it's not anticipated that it would increase, but if it would increase, then I think the spirit of this is that the participant never pay more
So
than
that,
half.
that first bullet is current law.
Mhm.
So the participant is not paying under current law more than that 0.025 starting in July.
But that's not related.
That's,
It's a number that's a specific number, but it's not by law 50%, is it? It's just
is the.
this, it just happens to be half of current.
Yes,
not
it's half.
50%.
So they pay the lesser of 50% or 0.025. So if the rate were to increase, they're not paying, the employee wouldn't pay 50% anymore, they pay it.
It's a point zero two. Okay.
So those that piece is what is currently in statute.
So my question on that is, where does that money go? So right now, ORP gets 6.2%. Is the employer gonna pick up this piece and that's gonna go from 6.2 to 6.2, whatever, 0.05?
So it'll be two different components, but it'll be the 6.2 is one component. The UAL rate is another component, and then this 0.025 is a third component.
But I understand that's coming out of the employees portion now, right? And they're paying 8%.
They're paying 8 and we're taking out 0.05.
Okay, so all they get, we are paying 8, you're taking out 0.05, whatever. They're only getting 6.2%, right?
So the 8 is their.
Yeah, I understand.
So they're getting the 7.95 gets transferred to their account. The 6.2 that y'all are paying is getting transferred to their account.
So I'm just looking at the ORP, not DB. So we're freeing up that money from we're taking that burden off of the employee. And what benefit is that employee getting? Are they now getting 6.25? Or so what I'm trying to figure out is, where is this saving? The employer is gonna pay more.
The employer
Employee's gonna pay less. What is the benefit for the employee?
So that 0.025 that the employer is paying, that will not come out of their 8% anymore. So they will get that in their ORP account.
Okay, so now it's gonna go from 6.2 to 6.2 plus that amount?
I guess you could
Think
look at
about
it
just
that
the
way.
employee money. Don't think about the employer.
Hey, that's all I'm thinking about. What I'm trying to figure out is, this is employer is taking on this burden, right? So it should free up money for the ORP member, so that ORP member should either reduce their 8% they're putting up, or they should get more money in that ORP account.
They'll get
They
more
will get
money in the
more
ORP
money.
So
account.
that's what I'm asking, they are? So it's
Yes.
not gonna be 6.2 anymore, it's gonna be 6.2 plus.
So from their 8, instead of them only getting 7.95, they're gonna get 7.972.
Yeah.
So I'm still. So
They
we
get to
we
keep
have them at the
what
6.2, so does that then remove the burden off, because the employer is paying that additional 3 point whatever to get it up to 6.2? Is it gonna be capped at that 6.2 for the employee? Are they gonna get more, or that employer portion to get it at 6.2 is gonna go down? See what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out, is the employee gonna see any benefit from this?
The benefit is
The ORP employee,
the employee, so the 8% that comes out of their check,
yes.
instead of getting 7.95% of that going into their ORP account, they're gonna get 7.75%.
But that doesn't go in their ORP account, only 6.2 goes in there.
No, the employee gets their 8%.
Okay, I understand it.
And
I'm
then-
thinking on the employer side.
The employer, so it's like the 6.2 is the
Yes,
match.
yes. So this is going to directly benefit that ORP employee by
Yes.
giving that. Okay,
Yes,
I was thinking on the employer side. I was.
and if the state funds it and the employer pays the whole 0.05, then the whole 8% that comes out
So
of the
it's
check goes
directly
into there.
okay, so it's directly benefiting that ORP employee. Okay, I just want to make sure I was confusing the two.
Good discussion.
So now Tommy's making me confused. So I just asked, right? So the employer, so this 0.025 is gonna be on top of the 6.2% employer match.
Yes.
So it's not gonna be shifted where, okay.
It's an additional.
Yes,
Okay.
so the
It's
employer is
additional
taking
employer
on cost. I was just wanting to make sure the employee, and I was confusing the two. I was not thinking about the employee side. So the amount that goes into the ORP from the employee is going to increase by that.
No, yeah, I just wanna make sure it wasn't gonna get shifted to 6.2%, where now you're gonna get 6.1
Yeah.
or 6.195%.
Good
Okay.
discussion.
So with this discussion and with Gina's question earlier, do we want to include in here that should the fee increase? Any type of contingent language or,
The increases, it was, if contingent on funding, the whole fee would shift.
oh,
Yeah.
correct,
So the first bullet is done.
Yep.
And we might not get any money for that. So that one, we don't really have any say on, but the
That's not
second,
even a recommendation.
Yeah, I
That's-
mean,
That's
basically
almost like
it's a
above
done
the
deal.
recommendation, current law.
so the second one is, if that happens, are they going to include? We've been lucky, right? And the legislatures have been giving us money for the
Mhm.
well, healthcare increase isn't sweeping the savings on the retirement, but they have been, and if it went up, they gave us so much.
I mean, it could be, that's the recommendation, and then it could be future consideration is entire portion is borne by the employer, none by the employee. So I mean, it could be that's the recommendation, the however piece, and then it could be future consideration that 100% shift to the employer. That's the spirit behind this. So if we did something like that, then the recommendation would be, here's the here and now. But for future consideration, it would be, we just didn't go that far in this recommendation, but we're putting it out there that that should be a future could be a future consideration.
Okay, so future consideration contingent upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated cost. What's the name of the the employer portion. Or,
Would just be, the employer would pay the entire.
The
pay the
full,
entire,
yeah.
right. Portion. Or the administrative fee. Would be paid.
So the recommendation word would go above, however.
No.
No,
That's current.
No.
Oh, that's, yeah, that's, sorry, that's
Mhm.
part of the.
so this would be our recommendation here based on this current action again.
I'll read it.
Okay, fine.
So current law, beginning July 1st, 2026. The 0.05% administrative fee charged to ORP participants will be split evenly between the employee and their employer. From this date, employees will not be debited any fee greater than 0.025%. However, should that fee be increased by the TRSL Board of Trustees, then the difference will be made up by the employer, as there is no anticipation of the fee increasing beyond the current 0.05%. The task force has no additional recommendation. So but we would have a recommendation.
But now I do, so.
Right.
Take that part out.
So if you want to see our recommendation, keep
There
reading.
we go.
Okay,
Right. There we go.
recommendation for future consideration contingent upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated cost. The administrative fee would be paid by the employer in its entirety. I hope that's easier to understand than read. For future consideration. Contingent upon appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education to support the enhancement. Thereby not causing. Doesn't have to say for future consideration. I mean, it's a recommendation.
That employee not paid. That current percentage by the new law.
Oh, no, they have to pay, so there's no recommendation to
Well, yeah,
that,
but
but.
the recommendation is that.
They don't pay at all.
That's our recommendation.
That was one of the items specifically we were supposed to review.
This item, yes, this was, yeah.
So we recommended that they don't pay anything if we get state funding, recurring state funding.
So the future consideration piece can be removed, because we're making a recommendation, so.
With regards to just context.
Yeah. So how is this? Recommendation contingent upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated cost. The administrative fee would be paid by the employer in its entirety.
Or it should, instead of would, it should say should.
Yes.
Contingent upon those funds.
Mhm.
So it could start with the administrative fee should be paid by the employer in its entirety, contingent upon appropriation, because it's almost like we're getting to the recommendation after you go through three commas. But if we do that statement first, that's the recommendation with this contingency. I think that might be more clear. Perhaps easier to read. Were you trying to bury it?
No, what it is.
No, he was not.
Center contingent upon us getting money, we will do that. That's why I like that contingent first. It might not read that last sentence.
It's there. I mean, I'm open,
Yeah,
seriously.
It reads easier, but I like contingent upon us getting money.
Okay.
I don't, should we add thereby not causing an additional mandated cost to the ORP? And it's a participant, right, not a member?
No, the mandated cost is to the
It's gonna go
employer.
employer.
Yeah. All right, here's where it stands. I'll read it one more time. The administrative fee should be paid by the employer in its entirety. Contingent, we can make it in bold, caps, underline, italics, upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated cost. It was much easier to read. I didn't have to take as many breaths.
Okay.
Is it an ORP member or participant?
It's just.
Doggone it. Do I have members somewhere?
Oh, at the top.
But that was in the,
Is that
that's on the task force
Yeah,
thing.
that was not me.
So you don't wanna correct them by striking
No.
through it?
I will not correct.
All right.
Right.
Okay, good discussion. Okay. Any more discussions? Think you know what to do at this point? More discussion or?
Make a motion to accept this recommendation.
Robert makes a motion, Gina seconds. Thank you. Any additional discussion? Any opposed? Right, the recommendation is approved. Thank you all. One more?
Final recommendation. So our final list of things to do as per HR 143 is to discuss the potential cost of providing a greater payout by using accrued leave to enhance a participant's benefit. So the recommendation is that those persons participating in an ORP plan be paid for an additional 100 hours of unused accrued annual leave, contingent upon an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated.
Or is that annual leave payment now?
See,
Addition,
this is an additional
so
100 hours,
what's the amount now?
300.
3,400.
So the difference on this one is the state doesn't give us any mandated money for these, nor have they ever. So
Correct.
contingent on them giving money to this,
Mhm.
I see this is.
It wouldn't happen.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
And I think for, at least for our campus, if you remember, I think it's a couple $100,000
It
plus
is.
the expense, and that's just assuming.
Yeah, it's anywhere from 230,000 to 280,000 over the last 3 years that we've had to pay out. And I told Tommy, I'm not gonna die on a hill for this. I feel like if we don't have the money to do it, then there are other places that money could be used.
But this is an equal rate, so Gina, I mean, I know you were
What's that?
part of this. This is to help the ORP members because they can't participate in drop.
No, it's to help ORP members because
They can't
pension-
buy the.
they can't buy
Yeah, they
their
can't buy
time.
service time. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Service time portion.
Nor can they participate in drop.
So the recommendation could kind of be broken into two, because I think that's, again, I don't want to read that one, you have to breathe in, it's a long one. So it could be that we recommend the additional 100 period, and then we could say a way to fund it would be, but it's not contingent upon or mandatory of other funding. You said, I mean, like it could be, let's do it. We recommend that it be done.
I'll ask the other system financial people what they think about it. I mean, you would have to bear the brunt of that.
We can say the task force strongly recommends.
Mhm.
But-
I support that. I'm speaking for one of the systems financially, so I would definitely support doing it. I think it's an appropriate thing to do.
Out of curiosity, do we know what percentage of ORP participants don't accrue annual leave because they're non-month employees?
Yeah.
I mean, or I'm looking at Gina from our system standpoint.
We have
I
a very
don't,
low membership in our.
I just, right,
Yeah,
just
So it's
started.
not gonna impact us.
And I would venture to say, I mean, we'd have to look at what our split is of
Yeah.
the faculty. I mean, I kind of think there's probably more that defined benefit than ORP, but.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is gonna be a very small percentage of ORP.
I mean, would you take out annual leave and say unused leave?
I mean, I'd shoot the moon on this one, right? As the faculty member,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think expansion to sick leave in addition to annual, right? Because I think defined benefits gets to use annual and sick. Is that correct? But for ORP, it's just annual.
You can convert a year of sick. You can purchase additional, I think, sick or annual. The actual, you pay the actuarial cost of it.
So they can only, to purchase service, I mean, to convert service time, you can only use sick. You can't use your annual. Okay.
You can just get paid out. Right there.
Paid out.
Up to.
Yeah, up to a certain amount, which to your question, if to make it more similar, it would be leave in total.
So yeah, we could just say unused leave.
Yes. Yeah. And in the narrative in support of this, it would explain some of this background and the
Yes, it
context
does.
of where it is today. You see that in the
Yeah.
doc, that would all be there. Because just on the face of it, you're like, where is this coming from?
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
No, oh, shoot. You think about.
So the recommendation, though, as it currently stands, it would only be if that appropriation, if there is funding. But I think that what I feel like I'm hearing is it should be not contingent upon the funding. It should be a strongly recommended thing to do. The additional funding would be a nice to have.
Because isn't this to right and inequity between the two?
Yes.
Yeah, and so why would we need to wait for extra money to write that inequity? I mean, I get it from the financial side, but. I mean, I do understand that, but to me, that's different than adding in the sick leave now, that they're two kind of different things. Although, no, DB also gets sick leave, right?
So I think my thought would be, instead of a comma after leave, it would be period. And then hit enter, move that on down, and it could stop there. And not even
Add that
have.
for unfunded
I can
mandate.
put strongly recommend, sure.
Trying to help us move.
I bet you would put strong recommends an additional allocation of recurring state funds.
That's where I was going with it. The
The
recommendation is the recommendation, and we strongly recommend, I don't think it has to say contingent upon it.
Yeah, you can say.
It can be strongly recommend appropriation of recurring state.
So not to create another.
Yes. Yes.
Eddie, you got that money set aside?
No.
Look, to be fair.
You have time.
Interest
You have time.
participants that can take their sick leave for the year, if they're at the maximum earning of 16 hours, that's 192 hours. We're already just saying 100 instead of 192. So we have taken some consideration that it is still less than what the person would actually convert in teachers.
Can you say how that one works?
So a teacher's participant, a teacher's member retires. If they're gonna take that 1 year of sick leave and use it as service credit, right? By the time you retire, you're earning 16 hours a month.
that's 192 hours in the year.
Okay.
We're just asking for 100, not 192. So it's not even a match anyway.
But it's a step in the
It's a
right
step in the right
direction.
direction.
Yes.
So.
And appropriate.
Earn annual leave,
No,
Faculty.
not.
so it doesn't really help faculty.
The sick leave.
Well, that's why we
They-
say.
they-
You'll leave to all.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that. So let me read it as it currently stands. The task force recommends that those persons participating in an ORP plan be paid for an additional 100 hours of unused leave. The task force strongly recommends an appropriation of recurring state funding for higher education institutions to support this enhancement, thereby not causing an additional mandated cost. Did I read
I
it
am not a
appropriately?
voting
Did I
member of
read
this
it
body,
appropriately?
so, yes, you did.
Discussion? You look like you're ready to say something.
She knows that bottom part's not gonna happen. That's all.
And it may not even stay, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it a problem?
No, I mean.
no, and again, we are
It's-
providing recommendations
Yes.
that at the end of the day, Representative Bakla will certainly take all of this into consideration in determining how he'd like to move forward with any or all of the recommendations that we provided here.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any additional discussion?
I just have one more question.
Yes.
Tommy. So if this goes through and there is no additional appropriation, which you say is not gonna happen. I mean, is this creates even more stress on the budget than there already
Well, I mean,
is?
it's
Yeah,
200.
200,000 last year.
In an overall context of how much? Budget?
I mean, for our campus, 809 million.
Yeah. so
It's just the
200.
A&M campus. So yeah, we'd have to come up with an additional couple 100,000, but I mean, it's every campus.
It's every
Right.
campus.
Right.
And I don't want to say that it's a minimal cost for all of our campuses. I mean, it may seem percentage wise when you're comparing it to 100,000 to millions. Oh, that's a small percentage. But that can be a significant cost depending upon the total size of our institutional budgets. Also recognizing that, as Nikki pointed out, that 100,000 or 200,000 can be used for many other issues. It can be used for startup costs for our research faculty. It can be used to aid graduate assistantships. There's
Could be used to
potential.
go on the ORP, from 6.2, you could raise it up. We have that ability to do it now, so you could.
Could be
use it for
used,
that.
Yeah.
it could be
Sure.
used for
But I
that.
understand it's an equalization, trying to get the
Yes.
ORP. Not equal, but at least a little bit behind with.
And again, these are recommendations.
Yes.
That will go forward, this may not even move beyond that recommendation. So we've had a motion, we've had a second, we've had some additional discussion. Any more discussion? Not hearing any. Is there anyone opposed to this recommendation? Hearing no opposition, if it's approved.
Great. All right. Well, I'm not quite again. Okay, so with that being said, this is actually going to be updated based on the conversation I just had with our legislative committee member, rep. Try not to say Joey, but based on a conversation I just had with Joey, so I'm going to be requesting that to go up to that date. Actually, he preferred that date. So we will be submitting it earlier than requested, but we'll be providing this information to them. It will be available and posted to our website for all to see as well.
It would be Sunday, December 25th.
That's okay, I work on Sundays.
Oh.
I am a 24/7 employee, Dr. Fuller.
You may want
But
to
I
change
thank
the
you.
Wednesday.
Oh,
That's what it is.
I'll change it to the most appropriate. Yes. Right?
Yes.
You gonna submit it in that format or this format?
No, we submitted as a report, so it'll be set up similar to what y'all saw there. The report itself, we'll have it organized. It'll visually look like, the one that was provided last year for the TRSL ORP task force. So I'll make the adjustments to the verbiage in the report based on the recommendations that were,
It's this.
that were put forward. Yes, yes. And then we'll post it to the website. Jane.
What else do you need?
Do you
from
have
this
another
group?
question, Tom?
No, I was just gonna point something out.
Well, that'd be
Yeah, I
good.
wanna make another record.
No. We are past.
Recommend it out. Is there anything else you need from this group?
Yes.
No,
Is there any other bit?
We change, I sent her changes on that page.
So they didn't match.
Right.
yes,
Yes, we've received input.
yeah.
Thank you very much from several people on the draft that was sent out on Sunday. See, she works on Sundays. That was sent out on Sunday. And so we'll incorporate that into the narrative, so it'll all tick and tie to the final
Flow more.
recommendations.
And there, after I put the draft together, there are 3 to 4 people within the Board of Regents that review it and ensure that it is in appropriate language and edits are all consistent. And that is also pretty, so.
I just want to say thank you to this group. I mean, you've been so engaged and I think we've all, I can speak for all of us. I've learned a lot. I think we've all learned in this process. It's been a wonderful opportunity to meet people and to participate and work across our systems, and all under the incredible leadership, Elizabeth, of making this all happen and getting this right on track. And had an extra meeting, but we're getting out before noon. So
Great.
I think we're in a good place. Anything else you need from us?
No, nothing. I said that I'm gonna skip ahead to my little thank you that I had last time. Which apparently is not going up to the other side, but right, but I do want to say thank you to all of the HCM team here at the Board of Regents. Truly without their work and expertise and constant research that they did and me saying, hey, could you look them up, and hey, could you make sure on this? I would not be able to provide you all the information that I was able to provide. So I did want to do a specific shout out to those individuals listed. Carlita is unable to be here, but Kelly Cormier is here in the room. Kim Small is in the room. And then our student intern, Ashlyn Prejean, who wants to go into HR when she graduates. So for those of us who are in HR in this room, if you're looking for future employee, there's one in the room.
Well, let's give them and ourselves. All right, with that, I think the last item is adjournment. Anybody want to go on the rec? Yes, we have so moved.
Second.
Second. Third, fourth. All in favor? All right, very good. Thank you all. Have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas, safe travels.